Shocker. Just imagine my surprise when the WNBA's so-called historic growth slammed into a brick wall the second Caitlin Clark wasn't on the court. One groin injury, and suddenly the league's marketing dream looks like a bad slogan gone stale. Ratings, empty seats, both collapsing faster than a team in garbage time. And it all raises the big question: can this league survive even a month without its biggest star? Because what we're seeing isn't just a blip, it's a reality check. Without Clark, the spotlight fades, and the league's weaknesses are on full display for everyone to see. The WNBA has built its entire season around one storyline: Caitlin Clark. From primetime matchups to merchandise pushes, everything was packaged with her face, her name, her highlights. But now, with Clark sidelined by a groin injury, the product feels hollow. The league wanted growth to look organic, like a wave finally hitting after years of effort. Instead, the numbers reveal a dependency crisis. Ratings are tanking, casual fans are tuning out, and even arena seats are suddenly easier to find.
Caitlin Clark did get injured again, in her right groin this time. The previous groin injury was her left groin, and it is not looking good because groins are an injury that do take quite a while to actually fully heal.
It's not that the WNBA doesn't have talent. It does. Aja Wilson, Brianna Stewart, Nafisa Collier, and others are stars in their own right. But the league hasn't invested the same marketing machine behind them. Clark was the hook, and without her, fans don't feel compelled to stick around. The painful truth is that the WNBA's recent surge wasn't league-wide growth, it was Clark-driven growth. And the second she's not available, that illusion cracks wide open. This isn't just an injury absence, it's a stress test. And right now, the league is failing. Because without Clark on the floor, the supposed new era looks more like the same old WNBA struggles dressed up in temporary hype. The numbers don't lie, and in TV land, numbers are everything. The Fever vs. Sky matchup was supposed to be gold. 5 chances this year to cash in on Clark vs. Angel Reese. The first one exploded with 2.7 million average viewers, peaking at over 3.1 million. That's unheard of in WNBA history, a true breakthrough moment. Networks were salivating, advertisers lining up. But then came the decline. Game 2 pulled 1.9 million, still strong but down sharply. Game 3 slid to 1.5 million, already the lowest Clark-era Fever vs. Sky numbers. And this past Saturday, disaster. Just 1.3 million viewers in the exact same primetime slot. That's a drop of 1.4 million eyeballs in less than 3 months. In television terms, that's catastrophic. Advertisers don't want roller coaster ratings. Networks don't want maybe hits. They want consistency. And what the WNBA has proven is that consistency lives and dies on whether Clark is suiting up. Every empty seat, every TV tuned out, sends one clear message: without her, interest evaporates. Fans aren't rearranging their weekend for Kelsey Mitchell ISO plays. They're not tuning in for Lexi Hull. Clark was the draw, and without her, the WNBA's ratings collapse is impossible to ignore. Strategy this season wasn't complicated. It didn't need to be. One matchup, Clark vs. Reese, was enough to carry the hype machine. Chicago Sky vs. Indiana Fever became the new must-see TV, the rivalry that networks could plaster across primetime. It worked at first. The clash of two recognizable rookies, their history, and their on-court drama brought in millions of casual viewers who normally wouldn't give the league a second glance. The league leaned into it so hard that everything else felt secondary. Promos, storylines, broadcast schedules all pointed back to Clark vs. Reese. But that's the problem. When your cash cow is really just one rivalry, you don't have a stable foundation. And once injuries hit, the whole thing crumbles. With Clark sidelined for weeks and Reese missing games too, that golden ticket matchup turned into just another mid-tier contest. Fans noticed. Nosedived numbers. Suddenly, the supposed rivalry wasn't even drawing better than last year's games without Clark. That's not growth, it's exposure. It exposed that without both players on the court, interest plummets. The WNBA banked everything on one formula, and now, with half the equation out, the product feels empty. That's a dangerous way to run a league. Clark's groin injury wasn't just unfortunate, it turned into a PR nightmare. First, she was listed as day-to-day, then out indefinitely. ESPN circled August 12th for a return. Suddenly, reports called her a game-time decision against Dallas. And then, Indiana's own coach Stephanie White admitted she hadn't even practiced. The mixed messaging was wild. Fans were strung along with teases of a comeback, only for the curtain to drop with another out notice. That kind of handling reeks of desperation. It's the league whispering to the Fever. Just tease a return, keep fans hanging, give us hope for ratings. It's a short-term con designed to keep audiences watching. But long-term, it kills trust. Fans catch on quickly. They realize the updates are more marketing ploys than real injury reports. And when that happens, credibility takes a hit.
And it looked like Caitlin Clark looked like she got a little hurt towards the end there. Is there any update on her injury?
No update. Just felt a little something in her groin, so we'll get it evaluated and see what happens from there.
Yeah, just kind of to follow up on that, looked like she was kind of grabbing at her right groin area. Is that the concern?
Yeah, if that's the one she was grabbing at, I don't know which one it was, but yeah, I mean, that's it.
The truth is, Clark's injury isn't one you rush. Groin injuries linger, and forcing her back risks a worse outcome. Yet the league's reliance on her is so heavy that they can't afford patience. That contradiction is eating them alive. Instead of being transparent and protecting their biggest star, the WNBA looks frantic. And in sports, desperation rarely inspires loyalty. It drives people away. Caitlin Clark's groin injury didn't happen in a vacuum. It's the result of weeks of excessive physical play, relentless targeting, and referees swallowing their whistles. Anyone who's watched knows the pattern. Clark gets hacked on drives, grabbed off ball, and shoved out of her landing space, yet officials let it slide. For a player who has become the league's biggest ratings engine, the lack of protection borders on negligence. The contrast is glaring. Women's basketball, even at the college level, often receives softer whistles. Paige Buckers at UConn gets calls Clark could only dream of. In the WNBA, though, Clark is treated like a rookie walk-on rather than the cornerstone she is. That double standard has consequences. Without consistent officiating, players rack up injuries, and when your most marketable player is sidelined, the whole league suffers. The league should have stepped in early, making it clear that reckless hits wouldn't be tolerated. Instead, Clark was left to absorb punishment game after game until her body gave out. Protecting stars isn't about favoritism, it's about business. If the WNBA can't safeguard its most valuable asset, it risks burning out the very player carrying its momentum. The WNBA loves to talk about growth. Record merchandise sales, historic attendance, ratings higher than ever. But strip away Caitlin Clark and the truth comes crashing down. The growth is almost entirely built on one player. Games without her are pulling fewer than 200,000 viewers on NBA TV. Some high school state tournaments outdraw those numbers. That's not a thriving league. That's dependency on a single star. The NBA had Michael Jordan, but it also marketed Magic, Bird, Shaq, and Kobe. The NFL has its quarterbacks, but dozens of marketable stars drive the narrative. The WNBA hasn't built that depth. It's Clark or bust, and that's a dangerous model. Every week she's sidelined, fans form new habits. They stop tuning in, stop buying tickets, and find entertainment elsewhere. Once that habit breaks, many won't return, even when she does. That's the bigger risk, the long-term erosion of casual interest. Until the WNBA learns to spread its spotlight, it will remain fragile. One player missing time shouldn't sink the product. But right now, Clark's absence has exposed the league's foundation as paper thin. So where does the WNBA go from here? Short term, they'll milk Clark's possible return. Teasers, game time decision headlines, clips of her shooting in practice, anything to keep fans dangling. It'll buy a little time, maybe a temporary ratings bump, but it's not a solution. Long term, they face two choices: fix the officiating and protect Clark so she can stay healthy, or admit that the league has no plan beyond her.
But right now on the bench after looking like she is in some pain.
The danger is obvious. If Clark's return doesn't deliver another May-level spike, the historic growth storyline collapses. Networks don't pay top dollar for products that depend on one fragile star. Advertisers won't invest in unpredictability. Owners will start panicking. There's also the credibility problem. If fans think the league is manipulating injury reports just to bait viewership, trust erodes fast. And nothing kills momentum like fans feeling scammed. For survival, the WNBA needs to broaden its star power. Angel Reese, Aja Wilson, Brianna Stewart. These players should be promoted, marketed, and protected. But right now, without Clark, interest vanishes. Survival or collapse? The answer depends on whether the league treats this injury as a wake-up call or doubles down on short-term PR tricks. Caitlin Clark's groin injury didn't just sideline a player, it exposed the WNBA's entire business model. Ratings freefall, empty seats, desperate PR games, and a league overly reliant on one superstar. This isn't sustainable. If the WNBA wants real growth, it needs to protect its stars, market more than one face, and stop leaning on gimmicks to cover deeper issues. Clark will return eventually, but will the casual fans return with her? That's the question hanging over the league. What do you think? Survival or collapse? Drop your take, hit like, and don't forget to subscribe.